Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews here with former Stevenage striker Dipo Akinyemi. So, how you doing, Dipo? How's things been, mate?
Things have been okay. Lockdown's been a bit of a struggle, but we've been all right.
And of course, you were signed from Potter's Bar back in 2014, and that was to come up into the youth team at Stevenage originally, wasn't it? And how much did you sort of know about Stevenage at that time, and sort of what were the sort of deciding factors? And you saying, "Yeah, I want to come and try my luck at Stevenage."
Well, obviously I was young then, so I didn't really know about Stevenage like that. I knew that they were a professional football club at the time. When I got introduced to them, it was by Tom Hart. He said, "Come down and have a session with the boys." It was during Youth Cup.
Okay, yeah.
That they see me play. So I think after that, I came in for about a week or two, and then I just ended up signing with the club.
And so, how much did you relish, of course, moving up into the football league? Because we've just been promoted just a few seasons beforehand as well, haven't we?
Yeah. So I didn't get given a professional contract at the end of my youth time or the 6 months I was there, but I got invited to do pre-season and try and earn myself one, really. So then that's when Teddy Sheringham came in, and he was manager at the time. I started off my pre-season with the youth team, and then it got accelerated to the first team, and then I got invited to the pre-season tour to Seville.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did very well on the tour, so that's how I earned myself a contract.
Okay, and of course you mentioned there that you came into the academy and then impressed manager Teddy Sheringham to be given a shot in the first team. So what was it like to obviously play under such a big name in football, of course, club and country with England as well? And what did you learn off of Teddy?
I learned a lot off of him. From obviously I'm a striker, so he was giving me a lot of tips on how my movement should be, where I should be in the box. Just telling me to express myself when I was on the pitch. Obviously he's the one that gave me my debut, so I'm thankful to him. I started the first 7 games in the league, and then myself an extension. And I wouldn't say it was planned that I was gonna get my shot, but I just ended up playing and doing what I do best.
And of course, you made your league debut for the club in the opening day fixture against Notts County. So when did you know that would be, an opportunity for you on that day? When did you know you'd be given a chance?
How do I remember that day? I think I got told on the Friday that I was going to be starting. So it was like a real shock to the system. I said, wow, like I'm actually starting. Like there's so many other players that could have started. I didn't really expect to get given a shot straight away. I thought I was going to have to do a bit more, but I think because of the way I trained and my pre-season went down, I just had to take it by the scruff of the neck. And when you're young, you don't really fear anything. You just play with your on your sleeves and stuff. So it was a good opportunity.
So of course we touched on playing under Teddy there as well. And let's have a look. What was I going to cover next? So how did that feel? Of course, the continued rise and development, of course, coming up from the youth team as well. Was it extra special coming through the youth team and then getting a shot in the seniors?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, when they don't get a contract at the end of youth, they just, I don't know, they either go one way, they either go and find another club, or they just find themselves in non-league.
Yeah.
But when I got given the chance to come back for pre-season, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to actually show what sort of development I had under the 6 months I was there. Because a lot of people have a nice 2-year period where they can learn, but I didn't get that chance. So I kind of it was like a probation period of 6 months of, is he really good enough? But I feel like in the off season, I really worked hard and said that I got a shot of being a professional footballer here.
And when you were in the youth team, who was your manager at the youth team?
It was Darren Saul.
So of course Darren is now with Yeovil as well. So what do you make of the job that he's doing with Yeovil at the moment? Of course, he's got quite a few ex-Stevenage boys there: Luke Wilkinson, Charlie Lee. I think he's got Emmanuel Sanupe there as well.
I haven't really been looking at Yeovil like that. He was manager when Teddy took over, so
yeah,
I didn't really get a shot under him, so I have nothing really to say about that, really.
Fair enough. All right. So there were a couple of youngsters breaking through at that time, alongside you. There was, of course, Ryan Johnson being one, Rodell Gordon, Dale Gorman as well. And then, of course, there was the mix of the experience within that of the likes of Chris Day and Ronnie Henry as well. And, of course, Michael Tong was in there at that time as well, who is a very experienced head. So how important is it to kind of get that balance right between the experience and then bringing some sort of fresh youth into it as well?
I think it's very good to bring in youth players because I feel like they bring something that maybe other experienced players won't do, like the fire of doing unpredictable things.
Mm-hmm.
Young players don't fear. They just play. They just know how to play. They don't really think of the consequences of doing stuff like maybe running at players in certain times or taking a shot that you wouldn't really take, or they just bring a bit of energy into a side, and I feel like developing or bringing in young players into a side can really bring a team forward.
And of course, Ryan, who we just touched on, Ryan Johnson as well. He had plenty of trials moving up to higher leagues, didn't he? He had trials with Tottenham. I think he had trials with Manchester United as well. And I think he had trials, was it possibly maybe even with Arsenal? I know he had 2 or 3 potential big trials.
Yeah, he did. I feel like he's one of them players that should be playing higher. But, it's just one of them things that didn't happen. That's a conversation you're going to have with him. But, you just have to, if you focus and work hard, you can get your opportunity back in the Football League. He's doing well at Hartlepool. So.
And of course, when you were at Stevenage, Ronnie was there as captain as well. And what was Ronnie like as a sort of a captain, a leader? Was he sort of very motivational?
Ronnie was the head of the team. He was the one that we went to if we had any problems, if we needed to speak with people in higher places or with the club. He always had our back as players. If we needed something sorted, he would always have our back. So he was a good leader. He was a real player's player. I still see him sometimes when I've played it, when he was at Billy Ricky at the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ronnie's just Ronnie, that everyone knows what Ronnie's about.
All right, and Ronnie's still involved with the youth at Stevenage now as well. And of course, to have somebody there that's had so many appearances for the club and been captain for so long as well, is a big name around Stevenage. Is one of the main names around Stevenage Football Club. Really, when you think of the club, you think of guys like Ronnie Henry. So to have him around the youth team as well, I'm sure the youngsters are learning loads off him at the moment. Yeah,
they'll learn how to be, they'll learn how to be strong and tough-minded. I feel like that's what he is. He shows he showed a real professionalism when he was around. So they'll learn a lot of him.
And let's have a flick over there. Of course, Tom Pett was another name as well, who was in that squad for Borough, and he's now back at Stevenage and performing very well actually as well. Under the leadership of Alex Ravel, he's been really instrumental in midfield in recent sort of couple of months. So were you surprised to see him kind of come back to Stevenage and sort of drop down a division after leaving Lincoln?
I don't know. I feel like Petty's a good player. Petty's always been a direct player. Don't be fooled by his size. He's very good with his feet. He gets goals, so I won't be surprised. I'm not surprised about that, to be honest. I feel like a lot of players have come back to Stevenage and done well. So, that's what I see about it.
All right. And when you were at Stevenage, we were of course in League Two, as was mentioned beforehand. as we are now and have remained as well. And how important is it for league football to a club and a town like Stevenage, of course, who competing against the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham and West Ham, Chelsea for getting fans through the gate?
When I was living there, a lot of Stevenage players, a lot of Stevenage fans do support Stevenage. So it is a tough, you're in the same region of Hertfordshire, which has got a lot of non-league football fans as well, and as well as football fans. You've got Watford down the road as well. You've got Luton rivals down the road. So it's just one of those things. But I feel like if the Stevenage town and the fans stick together, then you can do well.
All right, and that's a great answer as well. Of course, there is the Championship sides like Watford and Luton as well, and even in London, you can look at QPR, Brentford, teams like that who are doing very well. So you scored your first and only goal for Stevenage, giving us the lead in an eventual 2-2 draw with Newport. The goal I actually watched, was it last night or the night before? Just to refresh my memory, and it was a good finish as well, actually. And where does that rate in terms of your proudest moments in your career?
That is probably top 3 proudest moments of my life. I feel like getting that goal really, I feel like it was really deserved from where I've come from and how I worked hard to get where I was. It's unfortunate we didn't get the win, but yeah, like I said, that moment there was probably how I kept getting the appearances after that and stuff like that.
And so you made a total of 16 appearances for the club in total. And do you look back on that time quite fondly, or?
I call that the honeymoon time.
Okay.
It started off well, and then when a new manager comes in, then you never know what's going to happen. For me, it was lots of loans and time away from the club, so just had to move on from that.
And you had, 4 or 5 loans in total there as well, didn't we? And that was, was that something that you were being loaned out that many times? Were you kind of, was it making you extra motivated to come back and do well at Stevenage, or did you kind of just sort of see it as that was probably going to be your time up?
I saw it as a lot of tests, test of my character, test of is he going to break. I feel like I stayed very professional while I was on loan. I was sent to youth teams sometimes to train. People were brought in probably of the same stature and caliber as me and getting games. I don't feel like I was given an actual chance of he's gone out on loan, he's done this, maybe let's bring him back and see what he's like in the game or in our system. But that's just how it went. I ended up leaving last 6 months of my contract and getting a promotion with a non-league club. So just how the story unfolds. Okay,
and so in that time you also played in the League Cup against Ipswich as well, which we narrowly were beaten that day and putting up a very good fight. And actually we were unfortunate not to get a result there. So how much does that sort of come into play as well? Sort of testing yourself against players from the Championship, is that a challenge that you relished?
That day I was actually told funny enough, I was told that I was gonna only get 45 minutes. I remember. I think I started over Brett Williams. Mm-hmm. That's when I think I got an assist, but it didn't really count as one.
Right.
Who scored that day? Dean Parrott scored.
That's it. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
We played well. I feel like we was on top of them the first half, and then obviously Championship status kind of showed in the second half where they showed their level. But it was a lovely experience to play in that stadium, that environment. That was the first time I actually heard a song for myself in the stadium. So it was a real honour playing that day.
And of course, you mentioned your song there as well. Does that kind of help these players to get motivated, and especially the younger players as well to kind of get that recognition that you're breaking through into the first team, to have the fans singing your name, and what's that kind of feeling like? Does that kind of give you extra butterflies, an extra bit of a buzz?
I feel like it gives me definitely an extra buzz. It's not every day you get someone singing your name. So I feel like, and then whenever I heard it, it kind of gave me a real spark in my system, kind of to get me going. Any songs really, even like just fans in general. Football without fans is not the same, just as everyone has seen lately. So fans are very important to football. They actually really give you that extra second wind, third wind, when you need it.
And that's where Stevenage are doing so well at the moment as well. To go on this 12 unbeaten run that they're currently on without having the fans there, it shows the character of the squad that Alex has got together.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's been a lot of squads, a lot of changes at Stevenage. What I've been seeing, a lot of different managers, but I feel like once you get the right manager, the right system, the right players, and people that want to win, then you'd always do well.
And 100%. And they're doing very, very well there. I think they're about 7 or 8 points off the playoffs, and even that in itself, yes, it's probably very, very unlikely. But on the back of last season is a big achievement. Even just to be these 12 games unbeaten at the moment is huge compared to last season and the struggles of last year.
Yeah, 100%. I think you guys were pretty much ready to get relegated, or he was supposed to, but obviously I don't know exactly what happened with Macclesfield or stuff like that. But I feel like you guys seen it as a second chance to kind of show your worth and your club status.
Definitely, yeah. And so how difficult is it for players who go out on loan as well, just going back to yourself, and the sort of experiences that come with that? How difficult is it to, sort of know, and I suppose you're in a bit of limbo really, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. Some loans go well, some loans don't. My first loan out was in a mix. It started off well, and then I don't know, it didn't really finish on its heights. But my first loan was at Aldershot. That started off good over my debut. That was a good insight into the Conference Prem. It's not. I don't feel like it's far off the league. There's like stuff like how training is, how you look after your body. Like it's a bit different. Then I went to St. Neots. I felt like that wasn't really the level I should have been loaned out to anyway. But I went on loan, and then I went to Dulwich. Dulwich was good. I really like Dulwich. It's one of the best South London clubs, I think, in non-league with their fans and stuff. So that started off well. Then I come back, went on loan straight away to St. Albans. Yeah, St. Albans. So St. Albans was good. We were doing well in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Carlisle. Then that got cut short a bit. I went on loan to a month for Billericay. That's
right, yeah. And then Stortford, wasn't it? At the end, Bishop Stortford as well, yeah.
I think I went after Billericay. I went back to Dulwich.
That's right. And then you, and then I think, did you go to Stortford sort of in between, and then you signed for Dulwich permanently, didn't you, as well? So
Stortford on the last year of my contract. I went to Stortford. I was playing under Kevin Watson.
Okay, yeah, who's now at Billericay. Yeah.
So I was playing under him. That's probably the best fun I've had. Well, the best loan I've had under him. Even though our team was very young at the time. So, footballing wise, probably the best. I enjoyed that loan a lot. But
actually, I think I'm speaking to Kevin tomorrow. In fact, Kevin Watson as well. So it'd be interesting to see and hear what he's got to say about his time at Stevenage, of course, assisting Teddy, and then what he's gone on and done since that, and of course even where he's at currently. Yeah. Yeah.
No. What playing under Watson was good. He really gave me the platform to express myself as a footballer. He's very technical. He likes to join in sessions, and I give my regards to him.
All right, I will do. So upon leaving the club, you went to Dulwich on a permanent, as we said, and of course, the last club you were at is Welling. Are you still with them at the moment?
Yeah, my contract with them ended this season. Just trying to weigh up some options. I think they definitely want me to stay.
Right.
But with all, you just have to always take up your options. See what's around, and then we move from there. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do.
That's fair enough. And of course, the season was cut short, wasn't it, as well? When you were sort of, again, not sure what was going to happen in terms of the season finishing and everything like that in those divisions. And what's the concluding outcome of that been? Or has there been one yet? Or
yeah, the season's been none avoided. So I think we're just focusing on next season. We only got to play about 14 games in the league, so it's not a lot. But yeah, we just probably just take this time off and focus on what next season has for us.
All right, and of course, going back to Stevenage, just to kind of wrap it up, we haven't got too many more questions to get through, 3 or 4 more. The club have obviously been very active during the coronavirus pandemic, and how important is it for clubs like Stevenage to give back to the community and of course those fans who either already supporters of the club or potential supporters that they're trying to get through the door?
Is doing community work is always good. I did a few stuff like giving out in Christmas time, giving out hampers, going to visit fans. But yeah, no, it's always good to give back to the community. I feel like if fans, come and watch you or visit you every Saturday of their time, they could be doing anything else. It's only right to just give your gratitude back to them.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember there's quite a few times that obviously you boys went up to Lister Hospital, didn't you, and things like that in the community, and we kind of went to the kids there that were sick and kind of not well and that, and kind of it really cheered them up, didn't it, as well? You could see from their from the smiles on their faces that it really just made their Christmas. It probably made their year, to be honest.
100%. Just like, it's the smaller things. We just have to be grateful that we're actually allowed to play football. Some people ain't even allowed to do anything. They've always got some sort of issues or problems that they got to sort out. So I'm always grateful when I'm given the chance to play.
And so just kind of going on to the current squad a little bit. So what do you know about Alex Ravel? And of course, what have you made of that sort of upturn in form that we touched on just a moment ago with the 12 games unbeaten as well? And just before Christmas, the club were, I think, bottom or second bottom, and now comfortably mid-table. There's on a very good run as well, and yeah, really good opportunity to kick on and to see in the final 5 or 6, 7 or 8 games, whatever it is, to see where they can get to, and then kind of have that to build on for next year.
To go on a 12-game run is amazing in itself. I think I was on loan most of the time. Alex Ravel was a player at Stevenage, so I didn't really get to spend much or get to know him properly. But I know he's a good lad. He's a real leader. So I feel like he should really be able to build off this end of the season to do well for next season, hopefully.
And of course, you mentioned in regards to you were there with Alex for a little while. Was there any signs that he was going to go into management, or was it just a matter of he was just focused on playing at that time?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. I really don't know. I didn't ever get to have a real sit down and conversation with him to even think about if he was going to go to management. But a lot of footballers do. So.
Yeah. And of course, we've got a question here as well now saying, what can you do on the pitch when you feel you're not in good form? So I suppose that's kind of, when you feel that you're having a bad game, how do you kind of play yourself out of that?
Run around, at least if I don't score, try and help others score, just put yourself about, be a nuisance, really. I feel like whenever I'm having a bad game or I feel like I'm having a bad game, I used to let it get to me and stuff like that. But now it's just like, you just have to think about the team and hopefully get the 3 points. Not everyone has a good game every game, but the least you can do is work hard and put yourself about.
And of course, there was quite a few strikers that you were competing with as well when you were at Stevenage. Brett Williams was one of them, and
yeah,
I remember Brett was. I spoke to Brett, and I think that one of the first things we spoke about was that goal at Portsmouth, and of course, he's a big Southampton fan, isn't he, as well? So that was a big moment for him, and of course, I'm sure that was a great game for you to be involved in as well. Of course, playing at Fratton Park in front of such a big crowd in the league.
Yeah, that's probably one of my top things that I ever think about as well, to play at Fratton Park. You know, Portsmouth, to me, at the time when I was growing up, was a Premier League club. So it's a big stadium to play at. So that game was really good to play in. I really enjoyed that one.
And I think the next season we went there and we won as well. The season after that. So we had a decent record against them. I think they were top of the league when they came down here at one point, and we put them to the sword, and I think we won 3-0 or 3-1 as well. So I think we've got a fairly decent record against them. And even this season, we played them in the League Cup, and it was I think we were 3-0 up after about 20 minutes, and they got it back to 3-3 in the end, and then they won it on penalties. But that was the first game really, the current group. So that was obviously a bit about Portsmouth there, but so let's have a look here. So yeah, the club have been involved in plenty of good things off the pitch, improving the ground as well now with the new North Stand, and it's had the lucrative Burger King sponsorship deal, and of course that's gone into the women's game as well now.
Yeah.
So it's really good signs of things off the pitch as well as on the pitch at the moment for Stevenage, and with the women's game as well. It's great to include them into it as well now, and to have their they're getting the kind of same deal that the men are getting. They're kind of getting the Burger Queen deals, and they're kind of coming on, and it's really doing them good as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The women's game gets underlooked a lot. So I feel like the fact that we're now putting good use to developing the stadium and getting the deals done is going to help the community and players and the club in the future, getting those sort of deals across. So that's good stuff looking forward.
Absolutely, and of course it's great to have them involved in the club as well, and there's plenty of really good talent there as well with the women's game, and that Stevenage in particular. There's some really good players there that are going to go on and do well for the club, and then probably go on and do well elsewhere after that, and then move up a little bit as well in the pyramid.
Yeah, 100%. Good players always move on, whether male or female. So I feel like that's a good platform for them to progress.
And we've got probably about one or two more questions. I think it's probably the last one, in fact, and actually two more. So the last one was going to be in regards to the fans. So the one before that is let's have a look. I touched on the young players, in fact. So yeah, this will be the last one. So what are your memories of playing at the Lamex, and the relationship you had with the fans? And of course, we touched on earlier with your song as well, and hearing your name.
I had a very good relationship with the fans, to be fair. I always showed them love. They showed me a lot of love on social media as well. Even till this day, I still get a few of them giving me good comments and, stuff like, we could use with a goal at the Lamex today or stuff like that when I've scored that wherever I am. So I'm still in contact with the Diggs, my Diggs guy that I was.
Yeah, because of course you stayed with Dean, didn't you? Yeah.
I'm in contact with him. So, I feel like the fans really had my back even when I was on loan and stuff like that. So they believe I should have had a chance. I believe I should have had a chance. And, it's just unfortunate that I didn't. So I really give the fans a good gratitude and my thanks.
All right, so we're going to actually wrap it up there then. So best of luck for the next season, whether that's at Welling or whether you move on to somewhere else. And hopefully, you're going to be able to kick on and get another promotion under your belt with wherever you end up, whether it's Welling or elsewhere.
Thank you, definitely.
Cheers. Thanks for the time, Dipo, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, mate, as well. Take care, mate.
Take care.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye, bye.